Imagine waking up one morning, not to the groggy rustle of your bedsheets or the sticky warmth of your skin, but to the cold, polished sound of crystal joints shifting against each other. Your face, no longer a soft mix of flesh and fatigue, gleams like a sculpted gem under the morning light. There are no pores, no wrinkles, just sharp angles and translucent surfaces that reflect the world like a shattered mirror. You rise, stretch, and nothing hurts, because you're no longer made of squishy, carbon-based biology. You are something new, something far more alien than you'd expect when you look in the mirror. You are silicon-based. And everything you once took for granted, from hunger to heartbreak, just became optional. The funny thing is, carbon never applied for the job of life's building block. It just happened to be ridiculously good at it. Carbon atoms bond easily, flexibly, and in endless combinations, making it the Swiss Army knife of organic chemistry. Our DNA, our cells, even the chocolate croissant you devour at 3 a.m. during an existential crisis, all carbon-based. But just beneath carbon on the periodic table sits silicon, an element with a similar structure, an almost tantalizing chemistry résumé, and about 90 times more abundant in the Earth's crust. Silicon is already in your computer, your kitchen tiles, your contact lenses. So the big, shimmering question is, what if, billions of years ago, evolution rolled the dice differently? What if life said, you know what? Let's try the crunchy, glassy option. In this alternate version of Earth, evolution favors structure over softness. Instead of forming proteins with carbon backbones, your body forms durable, possibly semi-rigid silicon chains. Think less skin and bone, more glass sculpture with ambition. The fluid, adaptable tissues we rely on today would be replaced by materials that resist heat, pressure, and the passage of time. You wouldn't sweat during a workout, not because you're tough, but because you don't need to regulate temperature the same way. Your cells wouldn't break down and regenerate constantly either. Instead, you'd be more like an ancient monument than a living organism, stable, resistant, nearly ageless, assuming you don't shatter. Now, don't get too excited about becoming an immortal crystal warrior just yet. Silicon might offer durability, but it's a bit of a diva when it comes to making complex structures. Its bonds are less flexible, its reactions slower, and if you think allergies are bad now, wait until your entire molecular system panics at a change in temperature or pH. Silicon-based life might be hardy in some ways, but it would likely be brittle, chemically fussy, and emotionally. Well, let's just say you'd probably be the most stoic species in the galaxy. If humans evolved from silicon, we might not laugh as easily, cry at rom-coms, or impulsively text our exes. Emotional complexity could be different, either more stable, or entirely absent. After all, when your internal chemistry doesn't rely on dynamic organic fluxes but slow, stable crystalline structures, what happens to mood swings, adrenaline rushes, or falling hopelessly in love during a subway ride? And then there's food, or rather, the complete lack of interest in it. Our carbon-based bodies constantly scream for fuel. Pizza, smoothies, late-night fries, it's all just desperate attempts to keep carbon chains intact and functioning. But a silicon-based system? That might not need food at all, at least not the way we understand it. Silicon doesn't metabolize the same way. Your energy might come from external heat, solar radiation, or chemical reactions involving minerals. Which means no hunger, no cravings, no midnight regret eating. Also, no need for bathrooms, something we're sure public restroom architects would greatly appreciate. And while we're at it, you probably wouldn't even drink water. In fact, water might corrode your internals like acid. Your ideal environment could be somewhere hot and dry, like deserts, or a vacation home on Mercury. Beach trips would be cancelled. Lava fields would be the new holiday resort. But don't mistake all this for invincibility. Silicon bodies might be tough, but they're not invulnerable. Drop one from the wrong angle and it might chip. Heat? No problem. But a sudden freeze? You might fracture. Instead of bruises, you'd get cracks. Instead of a sprain, you'd suffer a structural failure. So sure, you might live for centuries, but only if nobody sneezes too close and you don't take stairs too fast. Now imagine society built around these new crystalline humans. Hospitals wouldn't have surgeons with scalpels, they'd have sculptors with diamond-tipped tools. Instead of bandages, you'd get laser-bonded repairs. A sports injury? Well, that'd be a cracked femur that needs high-precision kiln healing. And as for fashion, forget soft cotton or flowing silk. Your outfits would be a mix of metallic mesh, flexible ceramics, and maybe even reactive surfaces that shimmer like oil on water. You wouldn't wear clothes to stay warm, you'd wear them to prevent glare and surface scratches. And relationships? Oh boy. With silicon's stable molecular nature, emotional outbursts might be a thing of the past. Your idea of flirting could involve synchronized electromagnetic pulses or perfectly aligned lattice vibrations. Love songs might sound like machine hums, and breakups wouldn't be "it's not you, it's me," but more like "our charge densities are incompatible." Tinder bios would read, "Crystal clear communicator. 900 years young. Looking for a stable bond. Must tolerate sandstorms." Now let's zoom out. What about our interaction with the environment? Well, silicon-based beings wouldn't just survive in places like Mars or Venus, they'd thrive there. Harsh radiation, extreme heat, toxic air, all the things that kill us carbon sacks instantly would barely dent a being made from the same stuff as volcanoes and microchips. Terraforming? Not needed. Just drop a silicon family into a lava vent, and they'll probably turn it into a cozy living room with basalt furniture. Space travel, too, would be a whole new game. Without the need for oxygen, food, or water, interstellar journeys wouldn't require life support systems. You could sleep through eons while coasting between stars, slowly absorbing cosmic radiation as a snack. And thanks to your likely resistance to aging, you'd arrive at your destination looking exactly the same, like a moodless, unwrinkled quartz statue ready to colonize another rocky wasteland. But what about art? Culture? Philosophy? Can a creature made of mineral and light still ponder the meaning of life, or paint something that makes another being weep? Honestly, maybe not weep, because tears would just bead up and roll off your glassy cheekbones, but you'd still experience the universe, just differently. Maybe instead of painting, you'd etch. Instead of singing, you'd resonate. Instead of writing poetry, you'd construct vibrational symphonies only detectable by high-precision sensors. Shakespeare meets silicon wave. And then comes the ultimate question: would we be better? More advanced? More peaceful? Not necessarily. Sure, we might be immune to a lot of things: hunger, disease, aging, but being physically durable doesn't mean we'd automatically become wise or compassionate. Silicon brains might process logic faster, but would they ever understand kindness? Would a being that never feared death value life? Would we hold hands under the stars, or calculate heat dissipation efficiency while orbiting Alpha Centauri? And perhaps that's the twist. Maybe the very fragility of our carbon selves, the fact that we bruise, age, ache, and break, is what makes us care so deeply. Maybe our emotions burn bright because they flicker. Maybe our need to eat, sleep, love, and cry is what gives us that special, chaotic glow no mineral-based entity could replicate. Still, you have to admit, being a shimmering, lava-proof, food-optional crystal person does sound kinda cool. You'd never gain weight. You'd never forget sunscreen. You'd never get hangry in traffic. On the downside, you'd never taste pizza again. So, win some, lose some. In the end, silicon-based life may still be out there. Somewhere in a distant galaxy, on a planet with no oceans and endless stone plains, there might be elegant beings made of sand and light, wondering what it would feel like to bleed. Or maybe they've already visited Earth, looked around at our messy, fleshy ways, and thought, too moist. Too emotional. Hard pass. So the next time your phone slips from your hand and the screen shatters into a spiderweb of regret, just remember, in a parallel universe, that could have been you. And honestly, you still might have had a better warranty.